Hello, and welcome to episode 8 of Austin Opera's Live from Indy Terrace. Today we have another Artists in Residence edition for you, an exclusive look into the work of a conductor presented by Austin Opera's very own artistic advisor, Timothy Myers. Timothy made his Austin Opera debut last season conducting Silent Night, and today he will share footage from that engagement as well as other excerpts from his personal archives. While you have likely seen a conductor work his magic from behind, today you will get to see exclusive conductor cam footage, a vantage point typically only experienced by our singers and our orchestra musicians. We are so grateful to Timothy for putting this episode together for us, and it is my great honor to turn the program over to him now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, and thanks Annie for that introduction. I'm really glad to be joining you today from my home in North Carolina to share some of my favorite musical moments from the last 10 years of my career. One thing that's really cool about what you're going to see today is it's literally the insider's view. So most of the time your view as an audience member of me or another conductor is from the back and sometimes the side. These are all from what we call the Maestro Cam view, and that's a camera that is placed in the orchestra or above the orchestra or somewhere from where there's a clear shot of the conductor. This image is broadcast to monitors throughout the theater, backstage, and also out in the house so that singers can see them to help make sure they're always together with the orchestra. So all of this footage that you're going to see was filmed for function and really to never be seen by the audience. So this is a special treat for you to see today what really happens in these live performance events. So enjoy. The first clip we're going to see and hear today is an excerpt from the Rossini overture to La Gazza Ladra. When I was a young conductor, I had the privilege of mentoring with and assisting a very renowned conductor named Lauren Mazel. It was a life-changing experience for me to work with such a master, and this is a clip from the opening night concert of the 2010 Castleton Festival, a festival that Maestro Mazel started. And it was a really incredibly special environment to be a part of. There were prodigious young musicians from all over who came to form the orchestra. And it was one of these situations where you had all of this young talent kind of boiling in this cauldron under the tutelage of a master like Lauren Mazel. And I have incredibly fond memories of those times. So enjoy some Rossini. When I was the artistic and music director at North Carolina Opera, we began an initiative where one of our operas each season would be either in concert or semi-staged. Now that can mean a lot of things. Mostly it ends up meaning fully staged, just not in a traditional proceeding in theater. This was a very special performance of Dvorak's Rusalka, a piece that I really adore, and an incredibly wonderful cast, and this production that we created that transformed this concert hall into such an evocative environment for Dvorak's magical piece. So enjoy this clip from the end of Act 2 of Rusalka. Like many musicians, I hold Mozart in the highest regard. This clip is from a performance of Don Giovanni in North Carolina in a 600-seat jewel box theater that's absolutely perfect for Mozart's works. One thing of interest that you'll notice about this clip is I am not just conducting. And for that production, I accompanied my own recitatives on the harpsichord. And this is an interesting clip because you'll see two styles of recitative happening here. The secco recitative that's accompanied by the harpsichord, and the accompagnato recitative, which is accompanied by the orchestra. Two different things that I thought would be really interesting for you to see right next to each other. This was an incredible production with a starry young cast. This Donna Anna that you hear in the clip is Alexandra Lushin, who's now a dramatic soprano. And it was a wonderful experience because we were all supremely committed to performing Mozart in a historically informed but modernly performed fashion. And I'll never forget it. So enjoy a little bit of Don Giovanni.
Dove sei? Son qui per mia disgrazia. E voi? Son qui. Chi è morto? Voi il vecchio? Che domandata vecchia, il vecchio? Bravo! Due imprese leggiadre, sforza la figlia ed ammazzare il padre. Ha voluto suonare. Madonna Anna, cosa ha voluto? Taci, non mi seccar. E m'ecco, se non vuoi qualche cosa ancor tu, dopo nulla figliolo, non parlo più. Il padre mio è sottanza voglio. Tutto il mio sangue verserò se bisogna, ma dov'è scellerato? E questo dopo. Ma con questo fredere spettacolo tono. Cercatemi, recatemi qualche odor, qualche spirito, a non tardate. Donna, sposa, amica, il duolo estremo, la meschinella uccide. Già richiede, date nuovi aiuti. Padre mio, cerate, allontanate agli occhi suoi quell'oggetto d'orrore. Anima mia, consolati.
This next clip I chose for a few different reasons. It's Tchaikovsky, Eugene Onegin, the letter scene. And Eugene Onegin is a piece that's near and dear to my heart. I adore it. And I also really adore the singer with whom I'm collaborating in this clip, and that's the wonderful soprano Joyce El-Khoury. In doing things in concert like this, how this was presented, it's challenging with the singer behind you, and really we have our backs to each other a lot of the time. What's really special about a collaborator like Joyce, with whom I've worked for a long time, is there's this innate sense of trust and give and take. And you can see in this clip how that works between the two of us, but also with the orchestra, how they adopt it and they listen and they really feel her energy. And we just, as a group, all put it together so beautifully. I also remember this very distinctly because it was an example of how extraordinary music making can happen out of extraordinary challenge. We had lost our dress rehearsal to inclement weather in North Carolina in January. And I had a month before been in a very serious car accident and broken 7 ribs and fractured my sternum. So it was a challenging performance, but in all of the best ways. And I remember the magic that happened when everyone just came together and we all decided collectively that we were going to put everything on the line. And I think you'll get that feeling from this clip. This is a special memory for me because this clip is from my debut with Austin Opera, conducting Silent Night by Kevin Putz and Mark Campbell. It's an opera that I adore, and it's also one of my passions to conduct new works and works by living composers. I also chose this clip because it's a little bit non-traditional in the sense of we come into where there's about to be a battle scene. And so you hear all of the different armies marching to converge, which means you hear them each in their own different rhythm and their own language. And so it sounds rather cacophonous, but the coordination of it is extremely important. And then when we get into the battle scene, you'll also notice that we're joined by a lot of cinematic effects, sound effects, which also required a lot of coordination and this pretty strict tempo in the music so that all of this came together, and the orchestral music and the sound effects and everything happening on stage was in complete sync. If you watch very closely over my left shoulder, you'll see in a glassed-in booth at the back of the hall an audio engineer also working very, very hard. Enjoy this clip from Silent Night.
Oh!
last clip I have to share with you today is from a concert performance of Act 3 of Siegfried from November of 2019, so very recent. This is in North Carolina, where I returned to my former orchestra at North Carolina Opera to continue our exploration of Wagner's works. We've done a lot of different Wagner together. We've done full acts from Valkyrie, Tristan, a complete Rheingold, and so it's always a joy to go back and work with my wonderful colleagues in that orchestra. So this is like an ESPN style highlight reel of bits from Act 3 of Siegfried with the North Carolina Opera Orchestra and a really wonderful cast. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really happy to have had this time with all of you, and want to thank you for your support of Austin Opera. It means a lot to us, and we're very appreciative, and send all of our best to you and yours, and we'll see you very soon.